Welcome to the biggest Mopar gathering in the world. This is Robert Wolf reporting from the center of the Mopar world for July of 2023. Chryslers at Carlisle at the Carlisle, Pennsylvania Fairgrounds. If there was any doubt that the Mopar shows would get back to pre-COVID numbers, then this year's Carlisle event puts all those worries to rest. This July, the Mopar faithful descended in mass on this little town, solidifying Carlisle's bragging rights as the hands-down, no questions, largest Mopar show around.
Philadelphia?
Yes, sir.
Mopar group out of there?
Yes,
What's
sir.
the name of it?
215 Mopar.
All right, can we make some noise from it?
I'm not sure what to think. It's been a whirlwind of a week. I honestly woke up Wednesday morning and thought it was Thursday. My buddy Dennis Corder comes here and helps me every year. I called him on the way in. I said, hey, I just realized today's actually Wednesday, not Thursday, but we got here and got started and it felt like a Thursday, and then Thursday felt like Friday, and yesterday felt like a Saturday. It has just been insane. So I guess to get to the long and short of it, what a lot of people have been asking me, yes, we did break a new record. So thank you guys. As of about 11:30, it was 3,124 cars. So, congratulations. Leo, Claudia here? Claudia maybe yet, or she's still signing autographs? Claudia's still signing autographs. Paul Rossi, I see you right there, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Our good buddy Herb McCandless. Herb, you drugged some friend of yours along, Buddy, Mr. Buddy Martin. Well, I'll jump out of order because I see our Ram Chargers right over here. We got our Ram Chargers. Now I see our Commandos. They hid in the back, but all of our Golden Commandos back there. There's our missile group hiding over there. Joe and Ron and all those guys. Another good friend of ours, Dave Ray. Dave's been coming here a couple of years. Make sure you get up with him. He's just the nicest, coolest guy. And then we have our good friend Linda Vaughn. She's here.
How's this for an opening ceremony? Some serious Mopar drag racing royalty all on display. Soxon Martin, Paul Rossi, the Motown Missile, Butch Leal, and even the new Demon 170 cars were all there to kick this year's show off. Sure, Carlisle is a place to find cool cars and hard to find parts, but it's also about making memories that will last a lifetime.
If you want to go, that's great.
Yeah, I'll get some.
So Dave, how long ago was that?
This picture is today, 1993.
Okay, so...
Yep, it's going to be a good time. It'll be a good time on the My lady.
This year I helped my friends Dave and Diane Farrow to recreate a photo of Carlisle of 30 years past.
They just keep on coming.
While we find a lot of content for the magazine here over the weekend, sometimes shooting features for the magazine can be quite the challenge.
All right, Lee, we've got a very special car behind you here. Tell us a little bit about the story on this thing.
All right, it's a 69 Hemi 4-speed. Car came. She had this car, her husband owned the car.
Right.
And they have 70 GTX, Little Red Express truck, which I have the same. And it just seemed like we clicked because I have the same taste in what they had. So we met and talked about the car, talked about restoring the car. I purchased the car and took it to the shop. We took it down. The car was amazing. It was solid. It was still steel everywhere. It was in really good shape. So we ground the car down as a side project. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how are we going to do this? Is it going to be total restoration? Is it going to be something that you can drive? Is it going to be something you appreciate? I know they like to drive the car. I know they wanted to see the car go together. So basically, we ground it down to the metal and it was straight. We epoxied the car. We painted the car 3 stages of single stage paint. And we all in the shop got to looking at it and thinking, man, this thing is straight as an arrow. You know, no need to do anything. So we scuffed it down, shot the red, no cutting, no buffing, just what we got. And all the parts, they had already done a lot of stuff.
So what's your name?
My name's Trish.
And your husband?
Lynn.
Lynn, okay.
So we got the car and I'm thinking, you know, I'm doing piece by piece and we're kind of talking about it and thinking in the back of my mind, all right, Lynn did this, you know, Lynn did this. Well, how are we gonna do it? We all group chatted in the shop. End story was, we put everything that we picked up with the car on it. We didn't do anything much more than he would have done because it wouldn't be over restored. It wanted to be something you could enjoy, something to drive. So we did it. She got to watch the fun. And when we put this car together, and I don't know how it happened because car people know you don't put a car together and everything just flows.
Right.
But we did it, and I said, what breaks first, we'll fix, and we'll start from there. We fired it, the idles, the gas gauge went up, accurate, the temp pan's not moving, the radio pops and plays immediately, and I'm like, what in the world? You know, so we're playing with it for a little bit, and I'm like, all right, Lynn, you did pretty good. So we roll out, drive the car, steering wheel straight, brakes are great, power steering smooth, disc brake stop, and I'm like, there's no way. So we're trying to shake the hard parts out of it, you know. The car fell together. It's like we had somebody sitting here, you know, just kind of guiding us. Pretty cool.
So the timeline is you and your husband were working on the car and then he got sick or what happened?
Yes, we purchased the car and after a period of time he left it sit. And he ended up with an autoimmune disease and then he passed.
Yeah. Well, it's really great that the car lives on. You know, you can think about him when you see it and you think about all the good times. That's what's special about cars is it goes on beyond all of us. So, and Lee, you purchased it kind of in pieces, right? When you put it together?
We purchased it. We had a 40-foot trailer, and I'm telling you, that thing was packed. I honestly didn't think we was going to get everything. And it was packed from stem to stern. We have, you know, 3 or 4 guys, and we're laying stuff out across the yard, and we're pulling the car, and we're looking, and, you know, my mind does what it's doing in the background. Processing how we're going to approach it as soon as we get it out. Fenders different colors, doors are over here, and I'm like, well, I said, we don't really have a choice but to make decisions whether it's going to be a complete restoration or something you can drive and enjoy. And you know, it's a Hemi 4-speed. You're supposed to do all the things, you know. So what we ended up doing was making a super nice driver out of it. We get to enjoy it. She gets to hear it run. We're driving it in the trail. We took it to dinner last night.
So is this the first time you've seen it back together? Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible.
I met her here for the first time, and we didn't, you know, I sent my guys to pick it up, and when I got it to the shop, we did the whole process. She got to watch, and I told Dale, I said, Dale Matthews was the one that put us together, and I told him, I said, this would be pretty cool if we can get it back up there. You know? and I, you know, in the business, you don't really know what you got to bring. Somebody else's car, you don't know if you're going to be in the building, and luckily this year just fell, again, right into the spot where we didn't have anything important, and this is the most important thing. Load it in the trailer and let's get it up. It worked out good. She's got to see it. Family's got to see it. Grandson, how old is he?
16.
16 years old.
16, yeah.
And they're getting to see it for the first time. I think it's cool. I mean, that's what we do it for. You know?
After 35 plus years of going to Mopar shows, it's not that often that I see a Mopar that I never knew existed, like this factory 3-door taxi. Carlisle has long been known as a great place to find rare parts, but this year they upped the ante by also bringing in ultra-rare parts that were not for sale, but rather for display. Parts like the first 426 Hemi block, a 426 Hemi boat and NASCAR dry sump oiling system, and a plethora of rare intakes, among other things. In addition to finding classic and vintage Mopar parts for sale, you can also find the latest and greatest parts for your Mopar displayed here at Carlisle.
All right, we're sneaking up on this new part right here. You've seen it in the magazine before, and Tim, tell us about this. This is a hot new item here.
All right, this is our new bolt-in K-member for the B-body Dodge,
right.
66 to 70. Motor mounts for small block, big block, or the late model Hemi.
Right.
One of the design parameters was to build it so that the Elephant would fit in the Charger with a hood shut,
right.
which we accomplished.
Now, as far as the motor mounts, what kind of mounts are they using on this? A spool mount or just OE mounts?
OE mount,
okay.
There's a locating pin you have to take off.
Right.
Other than that, OE mount. Yeah.
And when you bolt this in the car, it looks like you take care of the bump stop here and you drill these 2 holes.
Yep.
There's really nothing else to do other than that,
Nothing
correct?
else
So
to
it's
do.
really
Yep.
almost a true bolt-in.
Yep. That was the goal. We
Yep.
want to make it simple and easy.
So looking at the K-member, it looks like you're going to have to use a rear sump oil pan.
Yes, you will.
So if you're not using that, the Milodon product will work.
Yep,
The
Milodon has
yep.
one. There's a Holly one that we believe fits.
Yep.
We also worked with Steph's pans. They have a pan to our specs that they can build for you.
Right. And the only other concern, I guess, you've got is the wheel diameter.
Yes. This is the spindle we needed to use to get the geometry we needed to keep the hub width where we wanted it, to keep the tires in the right place. It does require an 18-inch wheel. We have a 13-inch wheel width brake available for it.
And that doesn't come with the kit, but you can buy it from you guys, right?
Correct.
So 18, 19, 20, no problem?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And are these available now? I know they're brand new.
They're
Are they
available
shipping
now. We
now?
have them on the shelf.
Okay.
We've shipped the first couple right now.
Right. Everybody's raving about them. What's the price range on them?
Without brakes, as you see it here, is $8,000. With the 13-inch wheel width, is $9,000.
Okay. Give these guys a call. How do they find you?
rmorrison.com.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you, Tim.
You bet.
Not only is Chryslers at Carlisle the largest attended Mopar show, but with over 82 acres of cars and parts both for sale and on display, I think it's safe to say it also occupies the most real estate of any Mopar show anywhere. This year, the Carlisle folks moved all the new-gen Mopars to high atop the big hill in the center of the facility. Vintage, classic, and muscle Mopars filled the low ground as usual, but out front, trucks and vans filled in where the new Mopars used to be on the side of the hill. Buildings held specialty display cars, and out back, row after row of parts vendors. On the other side of the big hill was where you'd find Dodge thrill rides and the burnout contests. The literal only thing the show is lacking is a quarter-mile strip, but that's okay because of the massive size of this thing. You're not going to run out of things to do for days. How large is this show? I'm not even sure if you can get through it in a couple of days. That's why more and more people are coming in as early as Wednesday to start checking things out. One of the great additions to this show that they added several years ago was rolling burnouts. Rather than just sitting still and doing a burnout until the tires blow, these guys are allowed to do crazy tricks, stunts, as long as it's done safely inside of a controlled area under a certain time limit. It's basically anything goes as long as the tires are burning. We were very excited to have Little Miss Leadfoot debut her new MCG Mopar TV branded Super Comp dragster at our Midway booth this year.
So we're excited today to be with Melissa, Little Miss Leadfoot, who brought out the Mopar Collector's Guide logoed car. So it's been a journey getting here. So tell us about your story. I mean, the first time we heard about you was for the Donut Maker contest. So how did you get started with that?
With the Donut Maker contest?
Yeah.
So my dad, he told me about it in November of 2021, and it was rumored that Tim Kaniskis was talking about hiring a brand ambassador for Dodge. And my dad came to me, told me about it, and he was like, you'd be perfect for it. I think you need to keep your eye open. Like, this is opportunity. You need to take it. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. It was completely out of my comfort zone. I didn't know what to expect. But when in January of 2022, when they came out with all the details of how to enter, what needed to come from the brand ambassador and stuff like that, It was definitely something I normally don't do.
Yeah.
I never made a video. I never talked in front of a camera before. I thought for me, it was like very uncomfortable. I didn't feel comfortable in front of a camera, but I was like, you know what? Let's just do it, see what happens. Made a video, and then a couple months later, they announced top 10, and I was part of the top 10, which was crazy to me, honestly.
So we called you as being part of the top 10 earlier before that happened.
Yeah.
So you were our guest, and we thought you were good because you were a true brand ambassador, unlike some of the other ones, which were better speakers maybe, but weren't involved with the brand. So you've been involved with Mopars through your dad for a long time, correct? He's got a 71 Charger?
Yes. So I grew up around cars my whole life. My dad has always restored cars. I mean, he was here beginning of Carlisle, Mopars at Carlisle. So he has always restored Mopars, always loved Mopars. So when I was younger, I grew up in the backseat of my dad's 69 Hemi Charger. That was the first time I experienced, you know, a Hemi.
So you got it honestly, right?
Oh, yep. He had a car seat in the back, and that was my seat. And then he ended up selling that years later, and then he finally restored his 71 Charger he had for over 20 years. So that was the next kind of car, and that was the car in the back of the video, my chief filming video.
So then, at a young age, you started junior drag racing, correct?
I started juniors at the age of 10. I refused to get into a junior dragster. I was scared, apparently. My dad always tells it to me. And I did not want to sit in it, but he picked me up, bought me in the junior, and we did some burnouts on the street, and that was the end of it.
So how well did you do racing that?
In juniors, out of 7 years, I had 40 career wins, 2 track championships back-to-back, and a $10,000 race.
Cool. So that's a big deal for the juniors, right?
Yeah, $10,000. That's the highest pot they go.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So we saw your video, and unfortunately you didn't make the final cut, but you still had a great experience, right? How was the overall experience?
The experience was, like, I can't even describe it. You know, it was an awesome experience. I got to meet 9 other really cool people, and I'm close with some of them now. Like, it's just...
So they flew you guys out to Arizona, and you spent a week there, basically?
Yeah, we spent 3 days there. Yep, and each day was the competition, and I just learned so much, and I got to connect with a lot of people that I wouldn't have been able to if I didn't do it. And it was really fun too, because the first night we flew out there, we got to drive go-karts. And it was so much fun. Speedy, one of the contestants, I was trying to get used to the go-karts because, you know, I'm a drag racer, I go straight. So I'm getting used to it, and I finally get to a lap where I was like, okay, I'm gonna win this lap. And I'm going straight to the finish line, and I look over my shoulder, and I see Speedy coming up behind me, and I was like, nope, if there's anything I'm going to accomplish, I'm not letting him pass me this entire lap. So I would, like, you know in cars where it's like Chick and Lightning McQueen, they're like moving, yeah, that's how it felt. And it was the funniest thing. After the lap was done, me and Speedy get out of the go-karts, and he like gives me a high five. He's like, that's so cool, that was awesome. So it was a lot of fun.
Good experience. So when you didn't win that, we looked out, and I wrote the article, about you getting shorted. We thought you got shorted on it, but it's all in fun and games, But I thought at that point, wouldn't it be neat if Dodge, didn't want you? We wanted you over here, Mopar Collector's Guide, because we're kind of real world Mopar people. So we kind of put a deal together with you to run a dragster now, and that's what we're debuting here at Carlisle. So tell me about the car itself.
Yeah, so the car, my dad, the car is a super comp car, and usually super comp cars have a big block Chevy. My dad refused, and we wanted to put a 440 in it.
Right.
So we ended up getting a stroker kit. So now it's a 509 Max Wedge, and then he wanted to go a little more different route and use the Holley fuel injection system, which no dragster really uses that. No super comp dragster really uses
not with a Mopar.
Yes, So it's definitely been a learning curve trying to figure this car out. It's taken us 3 years to build it. It's expensive.
Now you guys are doing it all yourself. It's not like it's a professionally built car. You guys are doing it in the garage. You're helping with it. Your dad's wrenching on it. So he's your crew chief, basically. Right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we wrenched on it in the trailer for 3 years. So, and you can tell, I mean, a trailer, there's no room in there. So yeah, we've been working really hard for 3 years, and this spring we finally got it up and running. We dynoed it. It made 806 horsepower, and and we got it down the track a couple of times. Still working out some kinks, but that was inevitable. It's brand new. It's a brand new car. We got it as a roller.
Right.
You know, there was nothing to it.
Right.
But I'm really excited to get into competition and start, you know, competing with it. I'm just itching for it.
So it was its debut here at Carlisle. We talked about this last year, and it took a year to bring to fruition. Yep. You got it with the Mopar Collector's Guide and Mopar TV logos, which look great on it, by the way.
Awesome.
That was fantastic. So you did a great job on designing that. You worked with, I think, Skids getting your logo done too, which is really cool.
Yep, the logo came out good.
So hopefully you're going to have some brand new merchandise for everybody going into the future, and this is kind of the beginning of everything here. So what's the next race you're going to do that people can see you at?
Definitely Mo Party.
Okay, so you're going to go to Holly and you're going to race that?
Yep, definitely Mo Party. That's what we're trying to prepare for. But even before that, we'll probably race at New Media Dragway. Just getting some, you know, experience under my belt, some seat time. So that we are prepared to kill a Mo Party.
Right, cool, sounds great. So you're going to start doing some video for us on Mopar TV.
Yes.
We don't have enough racing content, and we want to get some younger content for younger people at the racetracks, which, you know, we've kind of commissioned you to go out there and do that. Tell us about your idea of where you want to go with that.
Yeah, so I thought of a cool name would be Mopar TV, We'll See You in the Lanes, because I say see you in the lanes at the end of my videos, so I think it'd be
that's
really
perfect.
cool.
So we'll get that branded.
So I think that would be really cool. And then my idea is to, you know, try and approach people at the racetrack that have Mopars and are running Mopars and talk to them a little bit about why they went with Mopar, what they love about racing too, and stuff like that. Trying to get to know the grassroots racers that I race with on a daily basis.
Right. All right, so that's what you're doing with Mopar TV, but if you're interested in all kinds of racing, Melissa is going to have her own channels now and covering more than just Mopars. So if you want Mopars, come to Mopar TV. If you want a broader range, go see Little Miss Leadfoot on what are your platforms?
So I have Little Miss Leadfoot on YouTube, Little Miss Leadfoot on Instagram, and Little Miss Leadfoot on TikTok. I also have my website, littlemissleadfoot.com. I post all my videos on there, so it's linked to my YouTube. So if you click on a video, go straight to the YouTube video. And everything, basically, if you want to know any information, littlemissleadfoot.com is where you go.
Okay, perfect. And everybody come out and see her at the Holly Mo Party. That's the next time she'll be out and the car will be running and you'll be able to see it in person.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your help on everything.
Of course, thank you.
All right, Melissa, this is your crew chief. Who is this?
That's my dad.
Your dad, he's responsible for this insanity?
Yeah, he is the mastermind to this project.
So tell me about the motor. It looks a little trick with the coil packs on this max wedge. That's unusual, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, you don't usually see these on dragsters, and you certainly don't see them on a whole lot of Mopars. Basically what this is the Holly Dominator fuel injection system set up to utilize plug to coil ignition.
And how do you find that works?
How do you find
that it works? Did it work well?
It works very well. The car is very crisp off idle. What I'm hoping to utilize this system for is to make the car more consistent as we bracket race the car.
Right.
So this gives you the opportunity to tune down to the cylinder versus, you know, setting the timing for all 8 at one time.
Right.
I'm able to mess with the timing in each individual cylinder. So if I need to pull a little power, I can pull 1 or 2, a little bit of an advance out of 1 or 2 cylinders, and the engine will still maintain a smooth, consistent run without pulling too much out of everything.
Now I know everything's expensive, but this basically is a budget build motor in the grand scheme of things, isn't it? Where'd you get the block from?
Well, the block was taken out of a 1977 RV in a junkyard.
Right.
That actually, I bought it just for the tin.
413?
It's a 440.
440, okay.
So it started life as a 440.
Okay.
It was born in an RV. The RV was in a junkyard. I was doing a big block in a swap in a van. I was taking a small block out, putting a big block in it, and I needed the tin that's special for the big blocks in vans, and I had found this in a junkyard, and I bought it for the tin for the van, and I put the block in the shed. And I said, I'll use it for something. It's a 440.
Right.
Easy enough to find, and this is what I used it for.
So then you bought a stroker kit for it.
I did.
Whose stroker do you use?
I actually traded an SRT4 for a bunch of parts.
Okay.
And the stroker kit.
So how many cubes is it now?
It's 509.
509.
509. It's a 30 over 440 block.
And you got it connected with an ATI?
Yes. The transmission came right from ATI. I spec'd it out. I told them what the application was, and they put together a package and sold me the transmission.
Now the car itself kind of came together by fate. I understand that you were selling her junior dragster.
Yeah.
And you were, I just sold it when you found this chassis.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny, strange kind of thing. I had bought a 68 Cuda door car that I was going to build for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept hounding me about a dragster. Daddy, I want a dragster. Daddy, I want a dragster. So she had aged out of juniors, and I had sold the chassis for $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to add up on Racing Junk. And so I went into Racing Junk and to take the ad out, because I had already sold the car. And I started going through the dragsters just to see what, out of curiosity, you know, what things were going for.
Right.
And it just so happened that a guy had this chassis for sale, not a half a mile from where I was meeting the guy with the junior to drop the junior off.
It's an S&W, so it's a real chassis.
An S&W chassis,
yeah.
Right. So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna have the truck there. I'm gonna have a trailer there. I'm gonna have cash there.
Mm-hmm.
Come by and I'll take a look at it and see what I see. And I didn't know it was an S&W chassis until I went to look at it. And then I saw there was an S&W chassis, so that renewed my interest in it because I didn't want something that was just welded in it.
Mm-hmm.
I put my daughter in the car.
Yeah, gotta be safe. Yeah.
So it had to be something good. And the fact that it was an S&W chassis just reinforced the fact that, you know, it was worthwhile. It was a worthwhile purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So I negotiated with the guy, and we negotiated a price. He was at $3,000. We negotiated it down to $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically traded her junior chassis
for this chassis.
and with a half-mile distance travel between the two.
Well, you can't beat that. So it must have been meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was absolutely meant to be. Yeah.
Perfect.
If you'd like to see more in-depth features on these cars and many more from Carlisle this year, make sure you have a subscription to the only Mopar magazine that matters, Mopar Collector's Guide. Also, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us on the algorithms and helps this channel to grow. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, make sure you smash the subscribe to Mopar TV button. It's absolutely free. Well, that's a wrap for Carlisle 2023. Until next month, I'll see you on the pages of MCG.